Hello, thanks for joining me, astrologer Patrick Arundell, for your astrological overview for week commencing the 18th of August. Of course, the emphasis has been on Leo in a big way, and the first half of this week remains that way, with the Sun and Venus and Jupiter all still clustered in the sign, and in the case of Venus and Jupiter, side by side. But from the middle of the week, from Thursday, Venus starts to move away, but it does forge a very tricky right angle to both Saturn, the planet of structure and restriction, but also of Mars, the planet of instant desire. And that is in the sign of Scorpio. And of course, Venus, being in Leo, suggests that here sexual tensions can be on the high side, certainly if you're in a relationship where perhaps at times you do have some sparks between you. Well, the chances are they can come much more to the fore during the latter part of this week. But also in the first half of this week, Mercury continues to be in an opposition with Neptune, and fact can continue to be stranger than fiction. So it is going to be important to keep your wits about you, particularly around discussions which could have some kind of contractual influence on them. If you're not sure, if you feel someone has got the same view of something as you, well, check with them, because better to find out early on rather than find out later on. But by the end of the week, as the Sun makes its way on Friday into Virgo, we are starting a new phase of the year. This is the 6th zodiac sign, and it's one which very much is to do with the influences that Virgo bring to situations of precision, of discrimination. It's an earthy sign, but it's ruled by Mercury, of course, so it is about thinking things through and making tangible decisions that have some kind of feedback or benefit. But also, it's true to say this is an area where we can think about health, we can think about fitness and dietary issues, and more perhaps about work or the type of obligations we've got. But with Mars and Saturn side by side in the latter part of this week, even in that alliance, without having anything to do with the square with Venus, it is true to say that this can be a very powerful influence indeed. When people have this in their natal horoscopes, their birth horoscopes, they tend to be people who can work very, very hard on one particular thing and be very, very committed. People who are involved in sports often have this aspect in their charts, because if you think about it, Saturn is about sticking at things when the going is tough. Mars is about energy. Put the two together, an athlete can overcome the pain of training to a very high level, and then, of course, becomes an elite athlete. On the other hand, this aspect, when it happens in a transiting situation, can see us work harder, but it can also create frustrations, particularly if things don't go as we want, because Mars wants it now. Saturn is all about long-term effort. So they don't always work together as well as they could do. And if you find your emotions getting the better of you, that will give you an insight of why that is. And of course, with Venus in the mix as well, really we've got a Leo-Scorpio square, and of course this has been going on for some time now in various ways. And what I would say to you is just try to be patient. Don't try don't expect instant breakthroughs. But once the Sun moves, it's followed by a new moon in Virgo in the early part of next week's horoscope, and I'll tell you more about that then. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.